So yeah, I mean, it was totally different. Like, it was the first time as a parent that I felt relaxed. I didn't feel nervous, which is kind of interesting, right? Because I still knew, like, if you were out or if you were dating or whatever, there's always the potential. But I felt like our relationship was so open that you were going to tell me whether I wanted to hear it or not.
Welcome to the Uninvited Guest Podcast.
Hosted by Samina
and Marissa.
We are the mother-daughter duo.
Turn one of your little friends.
Get ready to ditch the filters.
We're trying to break generational curses. Here, the conversations must flow free because our real life interpersonal growth depends on it. So get ready to be a part of the twists and turns in our own life stories that could give any comic book baddie a run for their money.
If you're up for some heartfelt storytelling that celebrates growth, resilience, and the struggle to keep going, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hello, my name is Samina. I'm your resident host, menopausal mommy, with 7 years until retirement. Unfortunately, it still seems like it's going to be a little bit longer, but I'm reporting from my home in Dallas, Texas, with open tabs ranging from Summer Olympics and 60th birthdays ideas. Like, I have no idea. Your honey dad's going to turn 60.
I know.
In a couple weeks.
Oh, in a couple weeks?
A couple weeks. I know, it just dawned on me. I looked at it, I was like, oh, no.
Isn't that funny? We're like, oh, yeah, we're going to totally play it. We're going to do all these things. And then you're just like, yeah, you're here.
It's here.
It's here.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that you had an open tab about this man because you wanted to take him on this like excursion. You even jokes that this open tab is still existing in your tabs of tabs of tabs.
Yeah, my Norwegian crab cruise or something. It is like that.
Yeah. There's like
you're saying take him now.
No, it's in a couple weeks. I wasn't saying. I'm just saying that's something that he wants to do. Maybe. I don't know. I was like, do you find him like a fishing pole rod?
Oh, like to say like this is for future? Maybe. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll get him a crab.
A real crab?
I don't know. I don't want. Do we get him a fake crab?
I don't know. But
I don't think you use reels out there to do a.
It's nets, right?
I think so.
I remember him showing us the video and like. Yeah. I feel like it was nets.
Maybe I'll do like, how like as a kid you make little coupons. Maybe I'll make a little coupon book, and in that, something to do with Yeah. Because he's he's simple anyway. So
he is simple.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. What is something you would want to do with him? Like,
what kind of question is that?
What? No. I'm like saying like. You're reaching 60 in 2-ish years. He's reaching 60 in a couple of weeks. Like, what is something that like that season of life that you two both would probably? I know he's very simple, but like, and you're kind of very different. You're actually very different. It's in the best way possible. I always joke that my mom and my dad have nothing in common except for their favorite color. You and honey dad found the perfect opposite match.
Yeah. But really, honestly, I mean, I don't think there's anything that I want to do except for, continue to plan for our retirement.
Yeah.
And I would rather not do something extravagant. I know 60 is important, right? But
yeah,
I would rather, if it
aging is just important.
Yeah, but I would rather us, build our dream home in Costa Rica versus, a week in Norway or wherever it is.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he would say the same thing, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
y'all want grandkids?
Ask him.
The fact that you didn't even answer that is honestly, it tracks. She hasn't changed. I've always asked her, and she's like,
"I'm not ready.
Really.
I'm not ready."
I know. You're not ready. I'm not ready either. I just like to ask the question.
Yeah, I think I imagine like, well, when you were growing up, your grandma and your grandpa were both working, right? Mm-hmm. And so they didn't really get to spend a lot of time with you, but they got to spend a good quality time with you, right? And so, but my vision is, I mean, I didn't have grandparents going up, so I don't really know what it's really like to be like a grandparent. Maybe that's why. But I want to envision like having grandkids, like we talked about this, like having for a whole summer, and that can't happen if I'm still working full time.
Yeah, you want that Lifetime movie-ish.
Yeah, of course.
It's a movie.
Oh yeah, darn it.
I'm just kidding. No, I love that idea because I just love that idea to send the kids off to be with their grandparents and really get to know them. So, yeah, let's just keep working towards Costa Rica.
Yeah, exactly. I
agree. And Summer Olympics, you said, was also an open tab.
Yes.
The rings are up.
That's so exciting.
The rings are up.
Yeah. The torch is still going around, right?
Yes. Yeah. And Jamaica is not looking great.
Yeah, at least not track and field. Yeah, but that's normally a lot for them in the Summer Olympics. But yeah. Well, it's okay. We can still root for every other country
for sure.
As long as there's good races, we're good.
Yeah. No, we're in regardless.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good week. Well, hello. My name is Marissa. I am your resident host Zillennial with 128 days left until I'm 30. And
30.
Why you put the pressure on? And my open tabs, NBA Finals, because we are headed into Game 3, and we're down 2 in the finals, which is so crazy because we've handled it so well, and it's like we're just letting it slip right.
Well, you still keep hope alive,
No,
like,
for sure.
Remember, they weren't supposed to be here this far anyway, so.
Who said that?
Well, all the, commentators,
gotcha,
and broadcasters, nobody expected the Mavericks to be this far.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell the people in Dallas that,
For
but
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm still hopeful that we'll win and finish
we have to do it. If we don't win, they say, no one has won a championship being down 3, so we have to win.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, because then it's going to be a sweep. Oh, yeah, we got to win.
Well, it doesn't have to be a sweep, but they could be like 3 to, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, gotcha.
It could be like 4-3. Just no one has gone over and won 4 more games after being down 3.
Yeah. Don't want it. All right. Well, in, I guess, happier news of an open tab, is there some optimistic research that's out about Crohn's.
Ooh.
And the causes of it and a cure, I guess, pathway for
potentially.
Potentially, yeah. Right? And it's interesting. I don't want to butcher the research and offend every doctor that has done the work, but they're finding that it's probably in the actual genetic DNA. That was at the top of the strand. Ooh. It said in 95% of patients, it found that this was a commonality. So, and that there is a potential drug that's out there, but like any drug that's being tested and trialed, like they want to make sure, definitely with autoimmune diseases, like if you're going to cure one side, it typically suppresses the other side.
Right.
So I guess they're really trying to find that balance in not doing that. Because I remember when I was on Remicade, my doctor was like, okay, overcompensate on these vitamins, right?
Right.
And be careful when you get sick. Like you might take a little bit longer to get better. So if they can really make movement on that.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. To reverse Crohn's would
be
heaven sent.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people like yourself are looking forward to that.
Yeah. I still think it's so crazy though, because I feel like the conversation is becoming more open and common, but yet there's still only a 1% of people that have Crohn's, like globally.
Yeah, well, I definitely think there has to be some kind of advancement. Just knowing that all the drugs that have been created, produced, I don't know what the word was, that since you were diagnosed, because there really was only one, I think, at the time, and that really targeted Crohn's. And then as you've progressed, more and more have come out. Like it seems like every other medicine commercial I see, advertisement is Crohn's.
They're just getting as good as Instagram. They're just like targeting you now. They're like, don't you? Weren't you the one that told me like you saw a commercial randomly that said your name on it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Somebody told me that and I was like,
that would be freaky.
It is freaky, but it's on like one of these streaming platforms where they have your name on your account. So it was like,
that would be really freaky.
Yeah, it was kind of, I was like, that's weird.
I mean, that makes sense though. Think about, have you gone to a hotel when you check in, they're
like, welcome. Yeah. We're so glad to have you. Like, okay, calm down. Glad to be here too. Turn it off. All right. Well, that's optimistic news. I guess we'll go into what's your word for the week?
It's kind of frustrated.
Oh, that's not optimistic.
Yeah, that's not optimistic. Sorry, but
life
I just
is life.
realized I'm just tired of corporate capitalism, like where they're putting profits over people. It's just, me. I'm a good person. I work hard. Ooh,
I'm just kidding.
I'm a good person. Good person, and I work hard, and it's just, I've worked for the same company, 30 plus years, and
you're one of the last ones.
Yeah, and one of the last that actually for a whole a lifetime career. Yeah. And to see that now, and I've had accolades in my company before. Now, I'm not saying that profits wasn't important then, but now it just seems like it's everything, right?
Yeah.
And to know that I've had accolades, that my company recognized me globally, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm almost on a termination list. Like, I mean, I'm not there obviously yet, but
it's being threatened.
It's definitely being threatened, and that just seems odd to me.
Yeah,
it
does seem odd. It's like you're counteracting what you already, the work that you already did. It's not like you've changed.
Yeah.
Your character, your behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And being with the company so long, I don't even know what that feels like. But like there's definitely, frustration feels like the proper term, and I'm sure there's many more that you could run.
Yeah.
And giving that loyalty, right? It's just like a backstab, which we knew. Like that's capitalism.
Right.
But it does feel different.
Yeah.
I guess. At this point.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's just so strange, Like, I never thought it would hit me. I think is, just because I have been not just loyal, but I feel like I'm a very good employee.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't cut corners. I do what I'm supposed to do, and it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
So.
Say like, peace. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, peace.
I'm just kidding. Go to Costa Rica. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm hoping things improve.
Yeah, it will. It will. I'll find a way.
Yeah.
There's a will, there's a way.
I had a coach in high school. His last name was Will, and she used to always say that.
She did?
Yeah, Coach Willis. She was my volleyball coach.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
High school?
High school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's probably why I don't remember.
Yeah. She's like,
you used to fight against her.
Yes.
I remember that.
The redhead.
I don't know who she was. I just remember you used to complain.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Anyways. Hopefully she doesn't find this episode.
And what about you? Word of the week?
I'm tired.
I'm so tired.
So tired. It's just been a week. It's been a good week. It's been a rewarding week. A lot of core memories have been made in this last week, but with my partner. But I'm tired because of the travel. I was telling him yesterday, like, I was such a travel bug. Like, I love to travel. I still love to travel. And I used to be able to do these quick, like, turnaround weekend trips. And we just did one, and I'm like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to get on a plane in like, please, at least a month. Which is so not ideal for the lifestyle that we're gonna live, but
do you think that's because it's not necessarily about the plane, but your time was action packed?
For sure.
Or filled, I should say, right? So
for sure.
Whereas where we used to travel in the past, it was all about relaxation.
Yeah. Yes, in a way. I mean, I've traveled before, just like quick weekend trips, without you, just like solo travel, or I'm traveling to go meet someone, do something, and I had to, like a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
I remember, talking about like quick turnaround trips. What year was it? I was trying to qualify for
elite status.
Yeah, I wanted to hit platinum, and I had like one more trip in me. So I literally flew from LA to Florida back to LA in one day.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like unfazed by it.
Right.
Ask me to do that today, I would cry all the way there and back. It's not possible. It's not possible. My body is like, no, please. Why would you do this? So
maybe that's a revelation of becoming almost 30.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's like, no, you kind of want to be grounded.
Yeah.
Also, I just feel like a little sloth to my new family.
Yeah.
I just like never want to leave.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I know. I'm all lovey-dovey. It's crazy.
Look at you.
Never would have thought.
Never would have thought.
Not me.
Yeah.
Here we are. Okay. Anyways.
I know. Speaking of family.
What?
No, I'm just talking about like me and you as family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It started with us.
It
starts with us. It ends with us. Yeah. I mean, we can just get right into it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Last week we talked about, or 2 weeks ago now, we really went through the story of like high school, being diagnosed, going off to college. But then I came home after my first year. And that was due to just my illness still being uncontrollable in my hands and my head.
Right.
And I don't know how you felt, if you felt like I had it under control, or if we had it under control.
Right.
But I just wasn't confident in myself at that point. And I just put down my jersey and I was like, okay, this is it. Like I guess I'll just be a college student.
Right.
And
then you had a decision to make.
Yeah, I had a decision to make. And I came home, and I didn't want to come home. I think I do want to acknowledge that. Like, I did try to transfer.
Yeah. And
that didn't work out. And so, yeah, I just went to the University of North Texas, and I had a choice to make. I could either go back to where it was before I went to college and go live with Dad, or move in with you now that our relationship was rekindling in a healthy way.
Right.
And I chose you despite, us still having to work through some things. One, it made sense because you were a college student yourself, going back to college for a different degree, just another degree. Yeah, and so our universities were really close.
Yeah.
They were literally, 10 minutes apart?
If that much.
Yeah. So, and then obviously there were obvious reasons why I didn't want to go home to Dad.
Didn't want to scrub any grout, did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad had me scrub grout.
That was funny.
Spring break, the spring break of any college student's dreams does not reside in my dad's house. But yeah, so we moved in together into an apartment, and I honestly think I wouldn't want that to have changed, like that part of the story, and I wouldn't want any part to change, but that part was so much fun for me. Like, I have so many core memories of going to college with my mom.
Do you?
Yeah, like in our place.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, it felt like having a roommate.
Yeah.
You were really becoming my friend in that season. And I needed a friend, like, just as I had my roommates who were my friends and they were helping take care of me. Like, I wanted that type of companionship. To which...
More than a mom is what you're saying?
More than a mom.
Okay.
More than a mom.
Okay. I think that came a lot from, me, as I came back home from school, from college, every semester with mom and dad, and them always having rules, that old saying that while you're under my roof,
my house, my rules.
Yeah. I don't even know what the saying is, but
you're like, throw that out.
Yeah. So I realized that was not going to work.
Yeah.
That was not going to work. And I knew to keep our relationship healthy and to continue moving forward, I had to have a better plan. I needed to do better. And I want to say, honestly, in the industry that I work in, it's women filled. So I've got to listen to a lot of women that have also had kids. And so I've got to take in a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah.
And so I had to, when you decide that you want to come home, I had to really look into myself and say, okay, Samina, what are you going to do? What did you hate about what your parents did when you came home?
Yeah.
How can you improve on this?
Yeah.
What did you like and what didn't you like?
Yeah.
And the one thing I knew that, but I think I always said that, when I have kids, when they come home, I'm not going to have a curfew, because I honestly realized in college, you didn't have curfews, but I wanted you to also realize that, even though you didn't have a curfew, I didn't want to pry. I didn't want to know where you're going just to be nosy, but just for your safety.
Yeah.
And to be able to establish, to be able to tell you, I'm not necessarily, I just want to know just in case something happens, and I think that's where a lot of parents and their children conflict, because we don't necessarily relay that message correctly to them.
Yeah. How would you have said it? Now knowing what you know, what is a piece of advice in how you could say it, I guess, that may be more relatable to...
I don't know. I don't know.
Today's teen.
Yeah.
Today's teens.
I don't know. Teens are different,
Yeah.
Teens at a point in their lives where they feel they know it all.
Yeah.
And I mean, all teenagers go through that, right? They just kind of, I guess it's part of that. They're growing. As they're growing, they're learning different things and they're meeting new people, because, their bubble is normally not as big as it has been.
Yeah.
Right. And then of course, when you go to college, that's a bigger bubble, and you experience people from all over. But I think as you come back from college, that's when we as parents have to, realize, okay, our kids could do whatever they want while they're in college. So we need to be able to find a middle ground.
Yeah. To support them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's funny because you giving me that freedom almost stopped me from doing everything.
Yeah.
I was just
you were home most of the time anyway.
Yeah. I didn't do anything. I didn't go to parties. I wasn't underage drinking. I wasn't, I wasn't doing that because it just one, Crohn's.
Yeah.
But two, it was just it's kind of like alcohol, right? Like having a certain drinking age, it's like almost this mystery, and it's so enticing and alluring when you can't do it.
Right.
When there's a boundary, a strict boundary on it. But then when that path is open, and this is not for all kids, I'm just speaking for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just like, it's open, and I don't want to do it. Like, nothing excites me about coming home at 2 a.m.
Yeah, but I think you're really onto something. I mean, you really think about the Europeans.
Yeah.
They don't have a drinking age.
The Europeans, as if you're not.
But they don't have a drinking age. Mm-hmm. And it's not a taboo. So when they go out, they don't necessarily go out to get drunk.
Right.
It's more of a social atmosphere, and they know how to control it. You know what I mean? I'm sure there are some alcoholics in Europe, but I'm just saying it's just not like, I just don't think it's, like you said, I don't think it's that taboo.
Yeah.
And I think that taboo, like, actually, creates that.
Yeah. It's the secrecy of parenting, which I think is necessary, right? Like, kids don't need to know everything. But and what I tell my niece and my nephew is, like, I'm raising a human. I'm not raising a child, because if I raise a child, I'm raising a child forever. Yeah. And so it's like, in raising a human, you have to meet us at that age. And definitely now, I mean, with the overexposure of information to everything. Yeah. Like, parents just have to, in my opinion, be ahead of the curve. Yeah. Like, call the bluff before your kids do. Right. Like, I would rather we set up a code word, a safe word. Right. Right. So if there were a time where I felt that I wanted to rebel, I also felt like I could still call you. Right. Because I was like, there's a safe word. Right. And you wouldn't question me. You would come find me and make sure I was okay first. And then you might have, like...
I would have questioned you later.
Yeah.
Once I knew you were in safe hands.
Right.
My hands, yeah.
Right. And I think, honestly, like, that in itself, it's so simple in theory, right? Obviously, putting it into action can be a little bit harder. Right. But I think that is something that is helpful, a helpful tool. It's like, just have a code word with your kids. Right. So that they do understand that you're still human. Right. Right. But, like, you were once young and you had that, naivete of, like, life. Right. And thought you could do all the things. Yeah. Yeah. But I enjoyed living with you. Yeah. It was so much fun.
The funny thing is, I enjoyed you living, because it was a different dynamic, Yeah. I mean, I think about all the times us cooking together, and, or actually you doing all the cooking.
I was about to say, right? I don't remember that part.
But, well, at least I was finding the recipes for you to cook.
Yeah, you were like, Marissa, this looks great.
Or just watching a movie, or, decorating the apartment, finding all the things that we could do. And, so, yeah, I mean, it was totally different. Like, it was the first time as a parent that I felt relaxed. I didn't feel nervous, which is kind of interesting, right? Because I still knew, like, if you were out or if you were dating or whatever, there's always the potential. But I felt like our relationship was so open that you were going to tell me whether I wanted to hear it or not. You were going to tell me. Yeah. And so I felt relaxed enough to know that I'm okay with whatever decision that you were making. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's big ups to you, because for you to say that, and I've never heard you say that, like, you felt relaxed. Which, like, wow. But, like, in knowing you felt relaxed is, like, good on you. Like, big ups to you, because that means you were confident in your parenting. Yeah. Like, you would become more confident in who you were as a person and how you were showing up in my life. that like, okay, the jitters aren't necessary.
Right.
You know, the anxiety is not necessary. Let me just talk to her.
Right.
Let's just have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you did that. Like, we were very open. We're still very open. But you're less shocked by the things that I tell you now.
I don't think there's anything that you could shock me with anymore, honestly. It's okay. Okay, what's a due date?
I just thought I was going to shock you because you said you don't want grandkids yet. But yeah, no, there is nothing at this point. And it's so freeing. Like, if I could give any advice to a kid or a teen, and it's hard, right? Like, it's so hard. It is, because you don't know the language. You don't have it yet. But there's also so many tools online now that you could just go to ChatGPT and ask them. But like, to open up and just, I remember like telling people that my parents had my location at all times. And people were like, what? And I was like, yeah, because if something happens, like, I would want them to know, you know, like, how to find me.
Right.
And my location hasn't turned off since then. Like, here I am at 29 and you two still have my location because it's important to me. Like, I would want you to know where I'm at, and vice versa. Yeah.
And we appreciate that. We do. I mean, that, and maybe that has something to do with the comfort, you know, knowing that you're comfortable, that you can share whatever. And, you know, and you were talking about with all the teens, and also I would say as a parent that, for any of the parents out there that, you know, I know a lot of people have a lot of beliefs, you know, and I have my own beliefs, but you've got to be able to learn to meet your kid somewhere in the middle, and you have to be approachable for your kid to approach you.
That's a bar. That could be in a rap song.
Oh, okay. There you go, new career.
Oh my God. Okay. That was the best response I could have gotten out of you.
No, but seriously, I mean, like, I think it's important, like, we parents need to learn our kids and to let our kids know it's okay to, even if you don't want to hear it, you know, that it's okay to say whatever, you know, and if your kid tells you something you want to hear and you need to scream, go scream in the next room later, but let your kid feel like it's no big deal. They're okay to come to you. That's why the safe word also, you know, that also works. Because I gave you that safe space. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I just feel, you know, and I had to, a lot of my beliefs I had to like change, to be able to know that, you know, I at some point was a rebellious kid, or a rebellious teenager, and I don't really say rebellious, but you know, I did obviously
your own things that your parents didn't like,
and I realized that you were going to do the same thing too, and the only way to make it, in a healthy relationship, then I had to actually change my ways. So, and meet you somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you're still doing that. Like,
ever evolving now.
Yeah, it is. It's an ever evolving like door. And you're like, I feel like every time you're like, oh, I can get off at this exit. You're like, nope. Like, something new. Was there anything that ever shocked you?
Yeah, there's a couple things.
I'm like,
yeah, there are a couple things that shocked me in there, but yeah, that'll probably be another conversation.
Now I'm nervous. I'm like, what? You're right. There's probably some things.
Yes, you know there are.
There's some things. But there's also like, I don't know. I feel like there's good stories. One that we both like hysterically laugh at still to this day. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Is that the one about when your friend came to visit and tried to throw you under the bus?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think it's a funny story. Yeah. So when we lived in our townhome, and Marissa happened to live on the third floor. I lived on the first floor, and there was a middle floor with everything: the living room, kitchen, dining room, whatever. And I don't know where you were, honestly. You were obviously out of town.
No.
You were in town?
I was in town.
Okay.
I was with a guy.
Okay, so she was with a guy. However, I was in my room, and it was in the middle of the night or early in the morning. I don't remember what the time frame was. It was definitely not a time frame for somebody to be walking out the door. I do know that.
Yes.
And as your friend, this friend knows who they are. We won't call them out. But as they're walking out the door, I'm like, where are you going? And who was that with you?
Because you saw two bodies.
I saw two bodies.
Yeah. That was the part of the story.
Yes. And then your friend said, well, Marissa, I think you said Marissa does it too. Or
she goes, do you know where your daughter's at?
Oh, that's okay.
She goes, do you know where your daughter's at? And I don't know what you said. Obviously, I wasn't there. But I just remember you telling me when I got home, like, do you know this is your friend?
Like your friend is trying to throw you under the bus.
And I but
you guys are still friends, so that's a good thing.
We're still really good friends. It was just so funny because at that point we had so much comfort in each other.
Yeah.
That it was just, you were like,
why did you? I think your friend was so funny that she didn't realize that I was okay with obviously you being gone at that time.
Yeah.
And me knowing it. And so I think that just shocked her because obviously your friend did not have that same comfort with her own parents, which just goes back to show how things have evolved, and we have to kind of change in our ways because then we have our kids sneaking around at someone else's house.
Yeah. That part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were, I will say it's funny because even though, I talked about this once before, but like everybody always looked at you guys, you and dad, as like mom and dad. Like they always thought y'all were so cool. Mm-hmm. And then as we grew older, like my friends still think, they're like, man, your mom has just really evolved. Even to, like supporting the podcast. Like they're like, I'm glad you guys are doing this because they've been a part of these conversations. Yeah. Like it hasn't been just you and I. Like we've had many conversations with several of my friends. And you've given them advice. You've comforted them. Even to my partner. Yeah. Like you are that person. Yeah. You're that mom.
I love it too.
But I love that you have been Mama Bear and you continue to be Mama Bear because it gives me comfort, honestly, in being a bonus mom now, to help parent, like step into that role confidently. Mm-hmm. And I just remember like, this is not every situation, but to my specific scenario, like there were, mountaintops and valleys in getting to know my bonus child. And I like needed to call on you for some advice and like help. And just the way that you soothed me through it, like I don't think I would be here if it weren't for you. So you're still.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead. Take that in.
I am.
You crying?
I am crying.
I knew it. Oh my gosh. Don't cry. Don't cry. But like, yeah, no, I really wouldn't. And it's crazy because it's like, I didn't, this whole scenario that I'm in mm-hmm. is not what I expected or predicted for myself. I was really like, I was out to beat you on when you had a kid. To find that I'm literally just recreating it. Like mm-hmm. you were 20.
No,
No.
no. We married at 26. I was 26.
Okay, you were 26.
So you did beat me.
I did.
And I had you at 28. So
yeah. Okay. So, but yes, woohoo! I beat you. But it doesn't really matter.
But you're literally following in my same footsteps.
Yeah, I am, and it's just like it's crazy that like that is like generational. Like when they say like you really do follow in your footsteps, and you have to be careful. And observant of those things that happen generationally so that you can, if you want to break anything, you have to be made aware of that. And the only way you can do that is, I believe, best way you can do that is to just have an open relationship with your family and your living ancestors as much as you can. And that this has all prepared me, and your experiences and you being open to me about your experiences have prepared me and equipped me for the season that I'm in now, because I am well aware that if it weren't for you, I would have given up.
Oh, I love that. But, and you know what? You are going to be such an amazing bonus mom. I know that. I know that about you. I mean, just the fact that you love kids love you. So,
Yeah, this one was tough. This one, I've cried many nights about, but I mean, even just today, I sent you a text message this morning that you woke up to, and it's just a stride in our, we split ways. We were all on a trip together, and my bonus child cried.
Yeah, I mean,
departure.
You'll get. I mean, there are going to be peaks and valleys, and that ups and downs. It will continue.
Yeah.
But you can do this. I know you can. So you're a good person. Your partner's a good person. So I know you got this.
I can do it because you did it.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. Love it. Thank you.
You're so worthy. It was a great conversation.
I think it was a great conversation today. Yeah.
We had some tears about to fall.
Yeah. Well, they were falling, but I think my eyelashes. Like they're burning right now. I don't think I have waterproof on today, so I think you know how I always do waterproof, and you're like, I don't think I have waterproof on.
This is a good place to end.
So we can scrub this eyelashes off, this mascara off.
Oh man, well. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Uninvited Guest. Keep up with us on our socials.
Like, follow, subscribe.
Do all the things. Leave reviews. We want to hear from you as much as possible. Definitely on what to talk about next. Like, there's so much we can talk about. But I'm kind of curious as to like what people want to hear from us.
Yeah, what are you struggling with,
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we've struggled. We've probably been there. We could probably help, give some advice, at least tell you how we handled it.
Yeah.
Or
to learn from us. Yeah. Like, not saying we're perfect in any way, shape, or form. I think the intention of this was to just release and hopefully give
someone hope.
Yeah.
Even if it's one person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
Okay. Well, bye.
Bye.